So we're gonna keep going, bro. Take a pit stop by Whole Foods. You know, in the Tom Cruise of Whole Foods.
Around the Lakers, and so sometimes that noise creeps in into how you feel, and then you perform a certain way. And so when I'm watching this team right now, I don't see a team that's connected, that is having joy playing in a rival game here in LA.
You're referring to the story about the Buss family and all the different things off the floor that have gone in with the ownership change.
It's always a story. It's been plenty of stories. It's not just that one. It's the one before that one and the one before that one. They just become heavy sometimes. And when you're watching this team right now, I don't see joy.
Let's take a look at the upcoming national TV games tomorrow. Prime Video. Rockets, Pistons, Nuggets, Bucks. And Saturday, ABC triple header with New York and Philly. It'll be the Warriors in Minnesota and the Lakers and Mavs. Go to NBA.com. What do you think, Candace?
You're halfway through the season right now, D-Wade. And you, as anybody, knows that there are some games on the schedule that you circle as games that are going to be tougher than others. I think the Lakers showed promise in their comeback win against the Nuggets. I think that they're going to have a boost off the bench and inserted into the starting line.
Free throw shooting team in the NBA. Lakers coming in having won 2.
Oh, we're the #1 free throw shooting team in the NBA?
The Clippers 5 games below 500,
Oh, Clips.
but they've won 13 of 16 and have the best record in the NBA since mid-December. Best record in the league, 13-3, the Clippers, and they've won 8 of 9 at home. Here's Leonard on James.
Are we 13-3? Let's go, Clips.
It's Sanders on Smart, LeBron, Lopez in the way to the hole, going LeBron James, 16 points.
And Timmy almost messed that action up. LeBron had to tell him, get out the way. The flare is for me.
There is a burrito in the bottom of this, split in half, just a cheese and bean burrito. We got some spaghetti noodles, and then we have ground beef marinated with spicy vodka sauce, Parmesan cheese. You have some pesto mixed with some Japanese barbecue sauce. So word on the street is we either gonna get 1 inch of rain, 1 inch of snow, or 10 to 12 inches of snow. Today is the beginning of the big freeze in New York City, and I can proudly say I was here during the big freeze of winter 2026. January 2026, the big freeze of the eastern United States. It's a lot of states that's going through it. Some in the South. I've seen that Tennessee and Oklahoma. There's a lot of states, but New York is definitely one of those states that's going to get hit.
Need no introduction. The title of our conversation is The Day After AGI, which I think is perhaps slightly getting ahead of ourselves, because we should probably talk about how quickly and easily we will get there.
So, it's always hard to know exactly when something will happen, but I don't think that's going to turn out to be that far off. So, the mechanism whereby I imagined it would happen is that we would make models that were good at coding and good at AI research, and we would use that to produce the next generation of model and speed it up, to create a loop that would increase the speed of model development. I just let the model write the code, I edit it, I do the things around it. I don't know, we might be 6 to 12 months away from when the model is doing most, maybe all of what SWEs do end to end. And then it's a question of how fast does that loop close?
I also think there are some missing capabilities at the moment in terms of not just solving existing conjectures or existing problems, but actually coming up with the question in the first place, or coming up with the theory or the hypothesis. I think that's much, much harder. And I think that's the highest level of scientific creativity. And it's not clear. I think we will have those systems, so I don't think it's impossible, but I think there may be 1 or 2 missing ingredients. It remains to be seen how, first of all, can this self-improvement loop that we're all working on actually close without a human in the loop?
This time a year ago, we just had the DeepSeek moment, and everyone was incredibly excited about what happened there. And there was still a sense, that Google DeepMind was kind of lagging OpenAI. I would say that now, it's looking quite different. I mean, they've declared code red, right?
I think I was always very confident we would get back to sort of the top of the leaderboards. We're making great progress, but there's a ton more work to do. And, you know, we're bringing to bear Google DeepMind's kind of like the engine room of Google, where we're getting used to shipping our models more and more quickly into the product surfaces.
Our revenue's grown 10x in the last 3 years, from 0 to 100 million in 2023, 100 million to $1 billion in 2024, and 1 billion to 10 billion in 2025. And so those revenue numbers, you know, I don't know if that curve will literally continue. It would be crazy if it did. But those numbers are starting to get not too far from, you know, the scale of the largest companies in the world. So I think it's been a good year for both Google and Anthropic.
Let's talk about closing the loop. The odds that you will get models that will close the loop and be able to, you know, power themselves, if you will, because that's really the crux for the winner-takes-all threshold approach.
The full closing of the loop, though, I think is an unknown. I mean, I think it's possible to do. You may need AGI itself to be able to do that in some domains.
You know, AI is going to be incredibly powerful. I think Demis and I, you know, kind of agree on that. It's just a question of exactly when.
I don't think that it's anywhere near enough work going on about this. I'm constantly surprised, even when I meet economists at places like this, that they're not more of professional economists, professors thinking about what happens. And not just sort of on the way to AGI, but even if we get all the technical things right that Dario's talking about, and the job displacement is one question, we're all worried about the economics of that, but maybe there are ways to distribute this new productivity, this new wealth more fairly. I don't know if we have the right institutions to do that, but that's what should happen at that point. There should be, you know, we may be in a post-scarcity world, but then there are even the things that keep me up right now is there are even bigger questions than that at that point, to do with meaning and purpose. And a lot of the things that we get from our jobs, not just economically, that's one question, but I think that may be easier to solve, strangely, than what happens to the human condition and humanity as a whole.
The US has a very different approach now towards China. It's a kind of no holds barred, go as fast as we can, but then sell chips to China. And that is it. So you've got a different attitude towards the United States. You've got a very strange relationship between the United States and Europe right now, geopolitically. Other area of potential risk that doomers worry about is a kind of all-powerful, malign AI.
I think, I've always been concerned about these risks. I've talked to Demis many times. I think he has also been concerned about these risks. I think this is a risk. This is a risk that if we all work together, we can address. We can learn through science to properly, control and direct these creations that we're building.
When ChatGPT first came out, it was extraordinary, and it has the ability to do to basically from your prompt generate text. However, as amazing as it was, it has the tendency to hallucinate if it goes on too long, or if it pontificates about a topic it is not informed about. It'll still do a good job generating plausible answers. It just wasn't grounded into truth, and so people called it hallucination. And so the next generation, shortly, it had the ability to be conditioned by context. So you could upload your PDF, and now it's grounded by the PDF. The PDF becomes the ground truth. It could actually look up search, and then the search becomes its ground truth. And between that, it could reason about how to produce the answer that you're asking for. And so the first part is a generative AI. And the second part is ground truth. In order for robotics to be smart about the physical world, it has to understand things like gravity, friction, inertia, geometric and spatial awareness. It has to understand that an object is sitting there even when I looked away. When I come back, it's still sitting there, object permanence. It has to understand cause and effect. If I tip it, it'll fall over. And so these kind of physical common sense, if you will, has to be captured or encoded into a world foundation model. Because Omniverse uses physics simulation, which is based on principled solvers. The mathematics is Newtonian physics. It's the math we know. Okay, all of the fundamental laws of physics we've understood for a very long time, and it's encoded into captured into Omniverse. That's why Omniverse is a simulator. And using the simulator to ground or to condition Cosmos, we can now generate an infinite number of stories of the future, and they're grounded on physical truth. Just like between PDF or search plus ChatGPT, we can generate an infinite amount of interesting things, answer a whole bunch of interesting questions. The combination of Omniverse plus Cosmos, you could do that for the physical world. Everything that moves will be robotic someday, and it will be soon.
واعلم أن الله عزيز حكيم مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله ثم لا يتبعون ما أنفقوا منا ولا أذى لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة يتبعها أذى والله غني حليم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى كالذي ينفق ماله رئاء الناس ولا يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فمثله كمثل صفوان عليه تراب فأصابه وابل فتركه صلدا لا يقدرون على شيء مما كسبوا والله لا يهدي القوم الكافرين ومثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم ابتغاء مرضات الله وتثبيتا من أنفسهم كمثل جنة بربوة أصابها وابل فآتت أكلها ضعفين فإن لم يصبها وابل فطل والله بما تعملون بصير أيود أحدكم أن تكون له جنة من نخيل وأعناب تجري من تحتها الأنهار له فيها من كل الثمرات وأصابه الكبر وله ذرية ضعفاء فأصابها إعصار فيه نار فاحترقت كذلك يبين الله لكم الآيات لعلكم تتفكرون يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا من طيبات ما كسبتم ومما أخرجنا لكم من الأرض ولا تيمموا الخبيث منه تنفقون ولستم بآخذيه إلا أن تغمضوا فيه واعلموا أن الله غني حميد الشيطان يعدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء والله يعدكم مغفرة منه وفضلا والله واسع عليم
Here at Normal Marketing, we capitalize on visibility and attention. I'm at the top, so lonely, honey, so lonely, honey, every night I put on. Look, it's Q1, month 3, phase 4, day 7, Saturday, January 24th, 2026. I am Drayson Allenberg coming to you live via my real-time autobiography, hashtag why. And this is normal marketing. I lived my entire life to have the moment to be like, all right, cool. Now I get to show the world why I was so weird. He didn't have no friends. We had all the friends. We was outside. We used to like kind of like see him and be like, no, buddy, like, look how he walk. Look how he, nah. They only with me because I got these 100s and these 50s. I get it geeking, ain't nothing to be said. These niggas be goofy, they look like the Fed. I'm having sex on the jet, no coach. Stubborn cat, pull a bag on the home. Half of these hoes are jokes. Watch how I touch the flow. She know how to talk, let's go. Body like, whoa, whoa. I stay behind and go. I'm in there watching. I'm in there watching. I whip out the hand, I whip out the whoa. Caught it on the trend like a bowler. 3,500 a soldier. Northwest ski mask rolling. I'm on that Santan Molly. Look like Doja. 005, 005. Whoa, put them on pause.
I had the sex on the jet, no couch. You throw me cat, I put a bag on the hoe. I think these hoes are chokes. Watch how that text and flow. She know how to talk, let's go. Body like whoa, whoa. I stay John, go. I'm in that white, hold up. You in that white. I whip out this hand, I whip out the wall. I'm cold, I like a bowler. 3,500 a soldier. North Face ski mask roller. I'm in that Santan Molly. Look like Doja. 005, 005, whoa. Put him on the pause.